Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Osmo.com Live Before Lock Show. We'll be discussing the day's 14 games of World of Opportunity in front of your fingertips. I'm Chris Baggs, joined by the baseball savant, Mr. Jake Hari. How's it going, Jake?
It's going well. Big slate on our hands, huh? I don't love it. I don't love the slate. I don't know why, but I can't put my finger on it. Yeah. What about you? What do you think about this slate?
I mean, I don't mind it. I think there's a lot of ownership, which is on the pitching. That's interesting to me. I didn't love your guys' commitment to Jason Vargas on the morning stream. Yours and Josh's, where your whole arguments were based around Jason Vargas. I don't know that I love that approach. But I don't know. Like, I guess let's talk about that up front, because that was sort of a big theme. And again, it's hard to tell if it's Josh just being spiteful. He loves to talk shit when I'm not on the stream with him, but when we aren't on the stream together, well, he gets real quiet. Doesn't say a lot. But Josh was talking about Jason Vargas incessantly and how he was the key to unlocking everything. Do you still feel that way right now, Jake?
I mean, he just unlocks so much stuff, right? So I'm limiting him. I'm not playing a ton of Vargas, but I will have some. I like Pablo Lopez. We talked about him earlier. Wrote him up in Spotlight Pitchers. I wrote up Vargas in Spotlight Pitchers too. So those are going to be my two cheap guys. Just going to be depending on how much I have available for pitcher. I think I prefer Lopez, but Vargas is significantly cheaper on DraftKings. So I can make a case for either one. I mean, they're not all that different. I think Lopez is probably a better pitcher. But we've seen Vargas do it lately. So I was really impressed by the last start. I don't know. What else? What else we got?
So Pablo, I know you were talking about too. And Vargas, to his credit, I guess, or to his theoretical credit, Vegas' total has come down a little bit throughout the day. But again, I don't know if that's just the public just loving Jason Vargas so much. He is projected for a fair bit of ownership. Homer Bailey's dad left in the first inning yesterday. Homer Bailey, listen, I will stand by the logic behind that pick. Obviously, I didn't think he actually became an all-star overnight. But boy, did he just get death by 1,000 cuts, where he just got hit over and over and over again, and not home runs, just tappers. It was a real kick in the dick, but that's life. You got to make those picks sometimes, especially when you see a leverage point where somebody is so cheap. So I think it's worth it. And it turned out what I think you were right with Chen, and Osmo was right in his article. Those are sort of the leverage points that you have to look at, and it ended up being Wei and Chen, and my heart wanted Homer, but no homers today. Is anybody shaping up to you to be sort of a similar play where, like, you think he's going to draw a little bit of ownership and possibly be a bit of heartbreak on the slate at pitcher? Because I think there are a couple guys who jumped out to me.
I mean, I think Vargas certainly has that possibility. I don't think it's a perfect matchup for him at all. Novato in there helps a lot. But there's still Suarez there. Barnhart can hit lefties. I don't hate Peraza at the top either. I don't know. I mean, there's certainly a path for him to struggle mightily. Like, he gives up a lot of hard contact as well. As far as other pitchers that, I don't like either of the guys in the Toronto game at all. So if we're talking those two guys, I think they could very much disappoint. Same with Glasnow. He's not going to go deep enough, in my opinion. Brad Keller, I mean, whatever. He's 6K, so I much prefer Lopez and Vargas over him. I'm not going to Reynaldo and Bettis. Jacob Turner kind of gotten off of him a little bit, but I guess he is somewhat viable for 4,100. Would not expect a big performance out of Turner, though.
I'm actually curious, and it kind of concerns me because I have a lot of him tonight. Chase Anderson seems really highly owned for the player he is. And I think he's in a good spot versus the Padres. But I'm wondering if he's the guy tonight who, I just felt good about. Felt like he's not like a great player. He's not grading out like Homer Bailey was either, to be honest. Like, not even getting a lot of swinging strikes or anything crazy. But he's like okay enough and in a winnable matchup. But if he's going to be 25% owned, it makes me feel like a bit of a dumbass for playing him. I still think he's got like a 25% chance of success, so I'm not probably better than that. So I'm not going to go against him, but it seems high for Chase Anderson.
Yeah, I've been impressed by what I've seen with Anderson as of late. So I'm on him. I don't like that he's going to be pretty highly owned. That worries me. But he is certainly going to be in my player pool. Like I'll have a bunch of Chase Anderson. I'm going to be more near the field than I thought I was going to be above it earlier, but he's just too big of a favorite, and he's at home. It's against San Diego for me to avoid. But I get why you're worried. He was not good earlier in the season, but I think he's been a lot better, so that's why I'm somewhat still in on him.
Doesn't Milwaukee's park have some park factors, though, against it? Like, I would have liked Anderson, I think, if he were at San Diego. But it doesn't, like, I mean, I know they're not one of the top parks, but aren't they, like, top 10 at least for hitters?
I would say they're more top 10. I don't pay attention that much to, like, numerical values for park factor. I know you can look that up, but I just kind of know which are the good parks, which are the neutral parks, which are the bad parks. And that's good enough for me for the most part.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, so I don't know. Chase Anderson, to me, I will still have a lot of him, but he is somebody who's jumping out now that we're really trying to comb over things with a Homer Bailey-sized fine-tooth comb. I think it's important to consider that. If you're a premium member of Osmo.com, Alex's article today is about the top stacks and the most likely stacks to go off relative to their ownership. So go check that out. But let's talk about stacks tonight. Where are you going the most so far, Jake?
Sure. Boston, Toronto. I like both sides of that game, actually. Cleveland, whenever they're at home against Mejia, I like that a lot. It hasn't really changed since this morning. I think you can go to some of these Mets, although full stack it doesn't look the most appealing. Seattle and Texas is going to be super popular. I like both sides of that. I don't have a true preference on either side. Like, I don't have a hard stance on that game. The Yankees I love, but weather concerns. And then, there's Coors Field, obviously, and then the couple teams that I thought were, like, kind of contrarian stacks were Arizona against Pivetta, who's shown the tendency to blow up from time to time, especially on the road. And then the Dodgers against Manaea, who just really struggles against righties.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers, I think, would go down a little low for me. I would like to see more on that team total if I were going to go their way. But for me, I think Cleveland was one that jumped out. In terms of an ownership level versus the opportunity they have in front of them, I think they look extra good tonight. I don't mind going chalky Seattle, but I also think they're going to be a little less chalky after kind of busting last night, and Zunino not in the lineup either. So I think people might draw a little ownership away after getting burned. Not at high volume, but I think they might be a little lower owned than people would think. Like, I think Cruz was like 35% yesterday or something on DraftKings. Like, that's gotta have some people feeling bad enough tonight to not go his way. When you mentioned the Yankees and White Sox, are you playing that game right now, or are you not afraid of the weather?
I'm playing it as of now. You've got an hour to make swaps, and there are some teams that I like after the slate locks, so you can go to Coors, you can go to the Cubs, or I like the Diamondbacks and Dodgers I just mentioned, and then I think the Angels will have or will have decent ownership too. So it's not like there's no pivots if you're able to make those swaps. If you just want to avoid it on a 14-game slate, you don't want guys with rain out potential, you don't want to deal with late swap, then just avoid it altogether because there certainly is some risk.
Yeah, and I do like the Angels too as one of my stacks, but again, would like to see that full lineup there before fully going with it. One that I think you guys mentioned, maybe Josh did this morning, was the Milwaukee stack, which I think is pretty interesting versus Richard, those lefties they have in that lineup. Richard obviously benefits a fair amount from playing a lot of games in San Diego, and I think it being in Milwaukee, even though we're not, the park factors aren't massive there, I do think that is a bit of a benefit for the right-handed hitters there, who he struggles with anyway. 1.52 whip, gives up a home run, more than league average. So, I don't know. It seems like one game that has a total above 5, which nobody's looking at all. Very low ownership on that game.
Yeah, I like Aguilar a ton, and Kane, so you don't have to talk me into like Scope and Braun and even Yelich lefty I don't hate. He's just 5,600, and Richard is really good at getting lefties out. Like he's very, very good against lefties.
Cesar asking, was there no newsletter sent out? There was a newsletter, so check your spam or something.
Yeah, spam. Sometimes depending on the day, it goes to. Cleveland has some weather delays. Oh yeah, they do have some weather delays. Dozier's first. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. Dozier's batting leadoff. Interesting.
Oh,
I mean, it doesn't really change much. It's kind of the lineup we expected. They just swapped Dozier and Taylor, I think, was the only thing. And then moved Kemp and Kike. They switched those two as well. That's not an instant lock. I mean, it's 14 games. If you're in cash and you want Dozier as a second base option, by all means. But there's no such thing as a lock in baseball, right? Chris, I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, no, of course. It's also crazy to me, like, how much that lineup has changed by the trades they've made, where now they completely run out a full righty lineup, basically, besides Bellinger. And before, they had to mix it up. And, they were still a very good team, and now they can just play the matchup completely. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. But that's what you do when you're going for a World Series title, apparently.
True. I need to go to see them, actually. I haven't been to a Dodger game since I moved out here. And I feel like this team is definitely worth visiting. Maybe a matchup where they're going to hit some home runs. I feel like I would like to then stack the game and then watch it live and be like, woo! Scream like a girl every time they do something good.
Sounds like a nice time for you.
I think, yeah, it would be lovely. Now we just need the Detroit and Angels lineup and also the Phillies, I guess. What are you doing, Phillies?
What are you doing? Get your lineups out.
That's straight. It's weird to me when there's an East Coast team who isn't on the ball. And it's not like your game's that late. You could get your lineup in, Phillies. Must have had a wild night out in Phoenix. Home run lock Edwin Encarnacion. Yes, we'll do home runs, by the way, closer to 3:30. I am on the hot streak right now for home runs, so Josh can suck my nards. Jake, you're fine. But Josh and I are now tied. We've both selected 14 home runs. Jake is just behind with 10, I believe, maybe 11. To be honest, I forgot what yours was. But we are going to pick today, and obviously going to try to keep that hot streak going. I feel good about it. When Gleiber hit that home run yesterday, I was very pleased. I had enough of him. Didn't really matter, but didn't undo the Homer Bailey damage, but still felt nice.
Oakland lineup is out as well. How do you like Cobb in a revenge game? Yeah, it's not because of a revenge game. He's just 4,900. He's coming off a good start against the Yankees. I think he's viable. I don't want to say I like Alex Cobb. He is an okay pivot to Vargas if you're going there. Like I've said before, I like Lopez better than both of those guys. But if I can't afford it, I don't hate going with Vargas or Cobb.
Yeah, Cobb to me looks okay. I mean, I don't think any of those guys look like any great shakes, but we're talking about farming them all. I think you're just probably right to play the lesser owned guy at that point.
Yeah.
And Vargas, I think you'd stack against Vargas tonight too. I don't love that team total going down throughout the day, but I still don't like Jason Vargas. Despite Josh's adamance that he's just passable enough to get you through, I still think he's good. And I feel like he's gonna have one really bad negative game coming soon.
Oh, he got blown up multiple times. Yeah, he got blown up multiple times earlier in the year. He is not. I mean, he looks better, but there's still hard contact to be had against Vargas. So it's not like he is any sort of lock. But the start last time out was very encouraging to me.
I kind of wouldn't mind him having one more okay day today, and I am playing a little bit of him in full disclosure, but. I wouldn't mind having one more, so people are like, wow, this Vargas guy, if he has 15 points today, they're gonna be like, he's really turning it around. And then fading him next time would be 10 times sweeter. That's the one caveat I would give.
Nothing like getting off the guy right at the right time. Just
yeah.
You get all the point. Yeah, he makes you the money, and then you become the whisperer when you jump off of him and he gets blown up. That's one of the best feelings.
Vargas is up to 15% owned now, by the way, since we are talking about him. What if he has 2 good starts in a row, the new Sandy Koufax? He's not Jewish, so Vargas could not be the new Sandy Koufax. I wouldn't discredit the best Jewish athlete of all time. The
best Jewish athlete of all time.
People revere Sandy Koufax, like older people do. I think now I feel like one of the Ringer podcasts was talking about like who's the new like Jewish athlete du jour. I feel like Josh Rosen's got a shot to be a key Jewish athlete.
Sure, yeah.
Different sport, but Josh Rosen. I feel like he's got the vibes. This is the day Pablo gets baptized. Don't fall into that trap. Do you feel like it's a little bit of a trap today with Pablo, Jake, your boy?
No, I don't. I kind of believe in him. I was talking about him earlier today. Watched his start last time against Philadelphia. He looked good, and the results were good. I just think he's going to be a solid pitcher. So against, what does he get? 7 righties? Sign me up. Just 5,800. I love him. So he's my highest exposed pitcher.
All right. Wait, Pablo's your highest exposed pitcher? Is that really what you just said?
That's what I said. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
That's going to be the case for tonight. So I will have some Vargas. I'll probably have some Lopez Vargas together and just go all out bats, depending on what the optimizer spits out. But just kind of waiting to see if Trout's going to be in now that you said that before I crunch a couple more times.
Yeah. Also, another guy who's pretty chalky tonight, who we haven't really touched on, Andrew Heaney. How are you approaching him? Are you going with him? Are you going against him? Somewhere in between?
Yeah, I think he's fine, right? So I haven't changed much about what I've thought about him since earlier. Detroit has been striking out more against lefties. Early in the season, they were like the lowest K rate in the MLB against lefties, but as they've deteriorated and just sort of given up on the season, they've gotten much worse, and that's going to happen. We've got Jacoby Jones in there, and Goodrum, and Candelario, and John Hicks. So there are some strikeouts to be had in that Detroit lineup. Heaney is somewhat safe. I don't know that he's got a ton of upside here though, but should probably get run support.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, the Vegas total again, where I feel like it's a similar situation yesterday with Tropiano, where just Detroit is bad enough where it probably makes them safe, even though there is some kind of potential. Like Tropiano gave up a home run or two. I think Heaney too will give up a home run or two tonight. I actually don't mind the full stack because to me, I think that Detroit looks a little better tonight than they did last night. Maybe, especially the right-handed hitters and the switch hitters. And Heaney's 20% owned tonight, or our projections say he's going to be 20% owned. So I don't mind the pivot there, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has a similar, 15 to 20 point night and is fine, even though he gives up a couple home runs.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he could easily give up a long ball to like Castellanos or some of these guys have power, like Goodrum and Hicks. But I think the more likely scenario is Heaney pitches fine. He goes 6 innings, gives you 4, 5, 6 strikeouts, and that's fine for 8,800. Like, I'm certainly not Xing him out of my player pool or anything like that. So just maybe not as high on him as some other people that I've heard talk about him today.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody asked about Zach Jameson. Would say I'm going Felix and CC. That is a false narrative that Josh keeps perpetuating. I haven't played CC at any sort of volume, or Felix at any sort of volume in the last few weeks. Both of them have kind of hit a corner, not looking great. I wouldn't have minded CC tonight, but the weather has me spooked off of that game, so I'm not. I think I might have one CC right now, just on the hope that it does go, but no Felix nor CC. Felix in particular has really kind of fallen off a cliff, numbers wise.
Yeah, I'm not on Felix. I think Felix, he's got a tough game ahead of him. If he can't miss bats, and he hasn't been able to on the road very well this year, he's going to be in some trouble in this weather against this team that swings for the fences more often than not.
Yeah, Felix has been getting rocked lately. He's been giving up a whip of 1.96. Zach's FIP has been terrible, 6.7. So, yeah, I haven't. I'm fully off of. CC, I think, would have been usable today. I mean, like they made Lance Lynn, the White Sox made Lance Lynn look like a Cy Young winner yesterday, so I'm pretty sure that CC could have an okay day.
Yeah, I agree with the CC call. The problem is just the weather, and it's like I don't really want to be sweating a pitcher that I have 6% of in an hour after lock. So I think he's fine if the weather clears up, but I honestly don't know if you're going to have that kind of clarity. There may be an in-game delay.
Since we're talking weather again, how do you feel about the Cleveland game? A couple people talking about the weather delays there.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to Cleveland weather all day, but looks like delay chances there. Late start I'm seeing, but that's fine. It should be okay for hitters at least. Like the game should finish, but it does worry me a little bit on Carrasco. Let me pull up the radar now.
Yeah, I don't love that because I too like the Indian stack. It was already low owned. So, I mean, I guess if you are going to ride out the weather, it's only going to get lower owned.
Who's saying, oh, it's already delayed? Jeez. What time is it? Okay, it's already delayed. God, I don't know what I'm going to do with my Carrasco shares, if I'm going to lower them or what. But I don't know. What else do we got? Home run predictions? Is Josh made his pick?
I don't know. He hasn't. I don't think it's in chat. See, we usually do it at 3:30, so we might have a few more minutes. I don't think Loose Screw could just demand it on lock. So we do it at 3:30, Loose Screw.
Oh, I thought Josh might have said someone. Yeah, my home run pick. It's gonna be pretty obvious, I think. But whatever.
I'm going with another chalky one, but maybe not because he had a bad day yesterday. We'll find out. But yeah, no, give it a couple more minutes. Tease the people out.
Sure.
But yeah, the weather shit. So I'm now worried about that Cleveland game a little. I don't know. I want to see. But can you look up the radar and tell me? Can we get Osmo's dad too?
Honestly, where's Alex's dad? Jeez.
Nevin Toth thinks a late start and play is probably how this shakes out.
Yeah. Moth bumped it to orange. I like T. McBee. He's a good chatter. He or she. I don't know.
Probably.
Let's see.
We do have a few women, but I don't think T. McBee is one.
Chicago. We're getting some mixed messages here in the chat. Anyways.
This is not
someone
good.
asked... there was a good question here, and I skipped past it. About park factor. Oh, Jason Kelly. Do you think park factor is overstated? Hard hits are hard hits, in my opinion. I mean, to some extent, I agree with that. I think sometimes people overrate park factors. Trout is not playing, by the way. But yeah, hard hits are hard hits. Some of these bigger parks, they've got bigger gaps. That means more chances for triples or extra base hits or something like that. So it's not just about home runs. Like, you can still get there with a stack. You see it a handful of times every year in AT&T where a team scores 12 runs. It's not very likely, but if the stack's going to be 1% owned, then I think it's worth taking a shot if you think a team's going to be able to make a ton of hard contact.
Yeah, that seems fair. Kevin Zoe, my pitcher model predicts these guys. Sure, I think you just listed all of the guys with bad totals and Heaney. But okay.
Let's see. All right. What are we pulling up? I can't remember the stadium name. I'm so bad at this.
People are really becoming junkies with the home run picks. about time. 3:30 on the dot. We're doing it 3:30 on the dot every day now.
That's 6:30 Eastern for normal people, or if you're in my time zone, 5:30.
3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, 4:30 Mountain Time.
People are probably watching this like, when was this recorded? Why is there a live chat?
Sorry that some of us live on the best coast. Some people on the chat are West Coasters too.
All right, so we got to search progressive field.
All right. Now I guess we can make the pick. It's 329. If you have one in mind, you can go first. Actually, no, I'll go first because I am, as a reigning Dong King, I would like to do that. I'm gonna go with the chalky guy. A little bit of redemption for him tonight. I'm gonna go with Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz. All right, so you got the Cruz redemption Dong. We have him being pretty healthily owned. Is that right?
I believe so. I think he's going to be under 20, but over 15% was the last I saw.
Okay. All right, so I'm just looking at the radar quick. All right, so if they delay it, it looks like it maybe clears up if they just wait out the first batch of rain. honestly, like that.
The Chubster's home run pick is in. Kyle Seager.
Oh, he trolled on you?
You did. Of course you did. That would have been my other pick, too. So, hey.
All right. Let's see.
Take Mitch Haniger for the sweep.
Who was I going to pick? I had one in mind, and now I forgot it.
I feel like you should take Haniger.
No. We got to give some people some diversity in this chat, in this live stream. Well, actually, this isn't really diversity on my part, but I'm going to go with a Eugenio Suarez. This guy is just the GOAT. I pick him like once a week in this game, and he rarely lets me down. Vargas, I will have a bunch of Vargas, but I'm also going to have a ton of Suarez on the lineups that I don't have Vargas. So hoping he gets a solo shot or two and Vargas pitch as well.
All right. I like that pick, even though you really do love Eugenio Suarez. I like you going against Vargas, though. That is one I will fully support always and forever. Nelson Cruz and Kyle Seager. All right. I feel like Kyle Seager has hit a home run for Josh before, but I might be. No, he has not. Okay. All right, we're in. Picks are in. There we go. Castellanos. Castellanos not a bad home run pick either. He would be one I would consider.
I like it. That's a nice contrarian pick. Are all these lineups in now? Everything's in? Or no?
Is it? No, I haven't.
Angels.
Still no Angels.
Angels and Tigers.
Yep. Phillies in though, so we're done with that.
All right, nice. So I'm gonna give it about 10 more minutes before I start my final crunch here. And my computer's going super slow, so this is gonna be a race to see if I can get my lineups in.
As is the way of the live stream. Just suffer.
Ooh, Matt
Look at that
Kempton.
number.
I like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. By the way, we are not. I forgot to remind us to do that. But yeah, like and subscribe the video, please. Subscribe to the channel. Do all that stuff always. They help our numbers out. Help us with SEO. Help us with placement when people are looking for DFS content on YouTube. So please give us a like on this video and all videos really, except ones with Josh. I can see why you wouldn't make those. Are you guys sticking with Cleveland or going somewhere else? Right now, I am currently sticking with Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Cleveland right now as well. It looks okay to me. It doesn't look like a ton of rain, but they're delaying it already. So you can look at that one of two ways. Like they're just going to delay it and then call it right away, or I think the more likely scenario is they just delay. They don't even start the player warm-ups, which is why they delayed it now. And they're just going to warm up in an hour and a half or whatever. And just have an hour or so delay and be able to play it.
Somebody asked, who's the outfielder with the most upside 3,400 or below on DK? I'm only answering this one because I have an answer in front of me. I feel like I'm not checking everybody, but Matt Kemp looks good.
3,400? Yeah, I love that. That would probably be mine. He comes up really well for me against Sean Manaea.
Yep, I think that makes sense. And especially, get some righties on base. Maybe Matt Kemp will have a 3-run home run instead.
Sure.
Who knows? Is playing a Yankee stack too risky today with the weather?
I don't think so. I think that one should be okay. But just be prepared to swap if it starts to get bad. I would definitely keep an eye on that one. I'm certainly going to keep an eye on it. So, but I'm keeping my Yankee stacks in.
Josh says the answer is Kemp as stated in quick hits. I didn't see quick hits today because I didn't have to post them on Instagram. But that seems like maybe Josh, maybe you changed that pick after you heard Jake and I both say it. Hard to say. You went back in time and did something that monotonous with your effort. Or you just wanted to get a little better quick hit pick. Who knows, Josh? Who knows? Listen to a little RGers today, and they're huge on ownership projection now. I feel like they've always at least mentioned it.
What is that? I mean, everybody should be huge on ownership projections, right? If you've got good ones, you may not be able to predict performance, but you can predict. If you can predict ownership, you're ahead of the field. So, yeah.
Marcus Carter asking about a Brewers stack. We discussed them a little bit before, Marcus, but well, actually, I don't know the price on FanDuel. Are you playing FanDuel tonight, Jake?
I'm not.
Okay, well, I don't know the price for FanDuel, but in general, they're worth it. Yes, I think they are an interesting pivot. They have a good team total, and Clayton Richard very bad versus righties, so the righties in that lineup would be the ones to go with. Sure. Not the lefties, though. He's pretty good versus lefties. Pujols, Marte, Cruz, and Gallo all going yard. I mean, there's a chance they all could. That's a random list of players, though, to ask if they're all going yard. But Cruz definitely, though, because that's my home run pick.
Well, Pujols, too? Wow, if that happens, good for you. Not that he doesn't have some power anymore, but righty-righty, too.
I like Pujols today. I think he's in. If he's ever going to have a night, this is the night for him to have a night.
Okay. All right. I will keep an eye out for the Pujols dong.
RG always talked ownership, but they were pretty lousy at it because it was largely guest/buzz-based. Yeah, I think that is one thing. I have subscribed to their site in the past, and I do feel like a lot of the numbers weren't the best, and ours obviously is definitely a point of pride for both our tech team and our guys who are professional players who are senior management. They invest a lot of that. So our ownership, second to none. You want to own ownership, own our ownership.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. So I love our ownership projections. I use them every single day. It's not even because I work here that I'm saying that. That's just what I use when I'm trying to gauge ownership. And it works.
Thoughts on Stroman? A couple people have asked about him amongst the cheat pile.
Oh, no, I absolutely hate Stroman. Just not targeting Boston. There's two guys. I'd rather go Cobb. I would rather go Pablo Lopez. They're against lesser teams. They don't have to deal with Betts, Benintendi, Moreland, JD. I just don't want to target a pitcher I don't think is all that great, even at that price against those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if you're playing a ton of lineups, but yeah, if you're playing like less than an MME situation, I don't think you need to have him. But as like a pivot to Vargas, if you're playing a ton, sure, I think worth a risk. But he's definitely not my favorite guy in that price range.
Did we talk about the Nationals?
No, I don't think we did.
Yeah, really good hitting weather there. Newcomb struggles with walks from time to time, and something me and Josh looked up this morning was that so Newcomb's allowed 6 stolen bases this year and 2 caught stealing, which is fine. 8 attempts, that's pretty good. But on his May 31st start, he allowed 3 stolen bases to the Nationals. Trey Turner had 2 of them. So I don't know what it is about Newcomb, but apparently the Nats like to steal on him, or they did that game. So I would expect Turner to be running here. I would expect Michael Taylor to be running here. And then all these hitters are just so good for the Nats. So they're going to be somewhat under the radar just because it's a 4.5 run total. But I know Josh is on them, and I felt like I should mention them because I have a good amount of them.
All right, there you go. People talking ownership projections. Yeah, look, compare multiple sites for everything is always a good move. It's not, you shouldn't trust any site. Obviously, we believe in our projections and ranking stuff more than anybody else's, but I'm sure they do as well. I think it's important to get a good mix of everything to know how the entire landscape is looking.
Yeah, I mean, don't just blindly trust any site, I don't think. Try it out for yourself if you have the money or you have the subscription or access to it.
Alexander asking again, what is the ownership on a team? Alexander, you're never going to get an answer until you pay for premium. Then you'll get all your answers right at your fingertips.
Yeah, come on.
Come and ask for ownership. You got to contribute more. You want free things from us.
Yeah,
pay for premium. I know who's here, who's actually helping the community, and who's not. I'm on to your tricks, Alexander. Matt Kemp has been in a bad slump lately. Sure, I mean, I think it's more about a price play. I'm not playing a ton of Matt Kemp tonight, but if you're looking for a guy who's 3,400 who's going to have upside, Matt Kemp is that guy.
Yeah, I think we're both
Catcher
on
is,
Go ahead.
Catcher is super weak. Any suggestions?
Yeah, let me get to my catcher spots.
I like Jan Gomes a lot. I mean, I liked him more for our weather concerns, but I thought he was in an interesting
I like
spot.
Barnhart against Vargas a little bit. Luke Miley, He grades out pretty well for me against Pomeranz. I just don't like Pomeranz, and I'm on the Toronto stack, so I like that quite a bit. I don't think he'll be very owned at all. Salvador Perez against Mike Montgomery, I think is fine. And then Chris Herman, he's just 3,100 batting 7th against Bartolo in great weather. So that's a pretty easy plug and play if you need some savings there.
Yep. I think that all. I'm trying to think if there's any catchers who you didn't mention who I thought were good. For me, it's mostly been a lot. It's been a lot of young Gomes today, so I might be boned if that weather takes a turn south. But yeah, nobody else really jumping out to me right now. Perez is always okay, I guess. I do feel like Montgomery's not as bad of a play as the ownership he's getting tonight, though. While we're talking about Kansas City and the Cubs, like we have him projected for being 0.1% right now, or at least the last that I saw, and Mike Montgomery's not that bad with a 3.7 total. He's not going to get you strikeouts or anything, but he's like okay.
I mean, yeah, we've loved attacking this Royals team over the last month and a half. So you can absolutely do it again with a 7K pitcher, but like you said, he just doesn't really have the strikeouts. So when you're letting the ball get in play and it's 90 degrees, it's a little dicey for me. So maybe not in love with Montgomery on this slate.
Greinke pitching shutout tonight. A lot of ownership projected for Zach Greinke. Where are you falling on the spectrum for him? I think he's actually the chalkiest pitcher right now.
Yeah, love Greinke. What's not to like about him? Against Philadelphia, who strikes out the most. Against righties on the road this year, Greinke looks near the top of his game for me, and he can strike out righties, he can strike out lefties. Obviously, ton of strikeouts if you just look at the individuals in this Phillies lineup. So I love him. He pitches better at home too.
Yeah, from an ownership perspective, I wouldn't mind going somewhere else. I mean, again, another Cleveland potential victim, but I like Carrasco more than him and paying up a little more just to get to him instead because I think he was in a better, well, not a better matchup from a strikeout rate, but from a safety rate, I thought he was in a better matchup. So I think ownership-wise, I'm okay fading Greinke just because I think he's not going to have a blowout day where you need to have him. But yeah, he looks fine to me for all the reasons Jake outlined. It's weird. Like, there's a lot of guys above for like a 14-game slate. There's a lot of like concentrated pitcher ownership.
Yeah, that's why this slate is just like weird to me because I feel like I like 7 or 8 stacks and like 5 or 6 pitchers. I feel like I should like more if I'm putting in 150 lineups, but there's just a bunch of write-off games. It seems like
it's odd to me that we have like 5 pitchers who are going to be in the neighborhood of 20% tonight. That doesn't seem like that's not normal. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, nobody huge, but just assholes.
Chris
Gleiber.
For 14 games, it's not super common.
Gleiber Torres' home run call was yesterday. Yes, that was correct. This helped people. Today, my pick is Nelson Cruz. Jake's pick is Eugenio Suarez, and Josh's pick is probably irrelevant, but it was Kyle Seager.
Mine's always Suarez. So just if I'm not on the show, just assume it's Suarez if he's not if he's playing. Maybe even if he's not playing and the Cincinnati Reds are still playing, you can still lock him in for a pinch hit home run.
Josh's DK ownership: Anderson 35%, Vargas 34%, Scherzer 26%, and Greinke 25%. So that is what the Chubster is going with today.
On my most recent crunch, I had, and I'm going to run this one more time. Hopefully, if we get a lineup here in the next couple minutes, but so just in order of exposures: Lopez, Greinke, Vargas, Anderson, Scherzer, Carrasco.
So you're riding with Carrasco despite the weather issues.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they should be able to play it unless someone hears something completely different. Are you guys hearing anything that like I'm missing on the Reds game or the Indians game?
What is Phillip Ervin's sample size? I'm looking at Suarez right now because I'm putting Barnhart into a lineup, and Phillip Ervin stuck out to me all day, but I actually didn't look up how many at-bats he's had versus lefties. But he's been really good versus lefties.
Ervin?
Yeah, let's see.
Are you getting yourself into a red stack here? Is that what I'm hearing?
I've been doing that all day because
Okay.
I hate Jason Vargas, and especially
Okay.
at ownership. So Irvin's at 36 plate appearances, so that's it's not insignificant. Better than 10.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Philip Irvin to me. Everybody keep that in mind, Philip Irvin. But no, the mini stack I think is really appealing to me. The Suarez, Irvin, Barnhart part.
Sure.
Let's see. Cruncher is crawling right now, Jake. Hey, I don't know about that. Fantasy Cruncher, a great website who gives us free things, so I see never any flaw with them.
It's working okay for me, despite me trying to run our software that we use to stream. Hopefully I didn't just jinx it, but yeah, it's going okay for me right now. Oh, just confirmed both those lineups?
Oh, okay. This is important. This is very important. Wait, no, where's not on Fantasy Labs.
I just got an alert from Fantasy Cruncher saying that they confirmed. Let's see.
Come on, Labs. Get with the ball. Get on the ball and let's use your free things to get lineups. Is it okay to have a bit of Cobb?
Yeah, I have a bit of Cobb. I mean, not someone I like as a pitcher, but I think on the slate, if you don't want to eat the Vargas chalkiness, then he's a decent pivot if you can't get up to Pablo Lopez. But I much prefer Lopez.
Anybody because somebody just pastes the Angels lineup into chat so we at least know what it is. I assume no Trout in the lineup. I feel like people would be mentioning if Trout were in.
He's kind of an important part of that lineup.
He is a key, an integral part of the Angels. I'll go on a limb and say that.
Yeah, I still don't see it anywhere else, so I don't know if Fantasy Cruncher is just trolling me. Yeah. Could be. All right, so I'm going to run this one more time and then probably call it good because it's got everyone. I mean, I can late swap or whatever. I don't have Trout in right now, but going to have to get some exposure if he decides he's going to play.
Tough time playing Denard Spawn on FanDuel with Graybeard. I don't know what that means. Does he have a gray beard? I'm confused.
Who's got a gray beard?
I don't know. There's the Angels lineup. Cole Calhoun, Justin Upton, Shohei Ohtani, Pujols, Simmons, Fletcher, Cowart, Arcia, and Eric Young Jr. So that is pretty close to what the projected one was.
Top starter you could see blowing chunks tonight.
Who's Chunks?
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I mean, I like Scherzer. Newcomb. It's Newcomb. He's over 10K, but that's not a hot take. I think the Nats get to him, so that's what I would say. But like, if you're looking for like a Scherzer or Carrasco, or Greinke, I don't think any of those guys are gonna blow up. So maybe Manaea.
I think the highest probability is probably Greinke. I think.
You think?
Just because, like, maybe not the highest probability. The highest probability. Just because the Phillies are sort of a boomer bust team and they can hit a lot of home runs fast. And I feel like that's the only way that like his night would go south. So I think that would be my pick, but it's still like a low outcome. I think all these guys are in pretty safe spots tonight.
Yeah, Pomeran's the epitome of a blow up. Yeah, I agree. I love Toronto. But yeah, it would be Manaea or Newcomb for me. I think that's a pretty easy answer.
Oh, I thought we were talking expensive guys.
Well, yeah, I mean 9K and above, because I don't think any of the 10K guys besides Newcomb are going to falter here.
With premium, do you give lineup feedback? No, we do not give lineup feedback.
No.
That is not a thing. Rich Hill. Any thoughts on Rich Hill tonight? Josh was big on him in the morning show. How are you feeling about Rich?
Yeah, he's just fine. He doesn't grade out as a great pitcher for me. I need to manually increase his projection just because he looks better over his last few starts, getting a lot more swinging strikes. And Oakland actually is not very good against lefties at home. They're just not as good of a hitting team in that park. It's just a tough park to hit in. So I don't mind Rich Hill. He's just pretty expensive, I think. 9,500 is a spot where I would just want to go up to like a Carrasco or a Greinke, 600 more. But yeah, no issue with Hill. Like, I'm not telling you don't play him, but If he makes your lineup fit, then sure.
Yeah, and I think there is sort of a game theory perspective given the strikeouts on that team. Like if you want to fade the higher price guys who we don't think are gonna have bad days, but maybe they don't have great strikeout days. And Hill obviously has some of the best strikeout stuff per nine on the slate. I mean, I would say number wise he's number 2 behind just Max Scherzer in terms of Ks per nine. So I think there is a logic in going to him just to be different, but he still wouldn't be my favorite play out of that. The Athletics can hit him. It's just whether they will or not. Who knows? That's why we play the games, folks. That's why we play the games.
That's why we play it. Didi or Turner? Wait, what? Is that on FanDuel?
No, wait. Did you guys create your own model to create projections, or you use another sites? No, we do not. We do not do that. Nobody here on the team, I think. Well, like Alex creates his own projections, which are then used for our rankings. Josh makes his own projections. Jake makes his own projections. I just use stats, and then I don't actually project things.
Yeah. I mean, you can use other site, like you can use different sites' projections and plug them into fantasy. You can use Fantasy Cruncher's projections and plug them in, if you wish.
I think he's just asking like from a credibility standpoint. Like, no, I think as a DFS site, you pretty much have to make projections across the board. It would be weird if we were like, hey, we're gonna go with that, and it's just like roto grinders.
Oh no, I made my own this year. It was it took me quite a bit, but they work. So a few manual adjustments here and there, but yeah.
That was a strange question to ask.
Trey Turner. I was thinking Justin Turner on DK, D or Turner. I would go Trey Turner there.
See anything good? Cash, I don't know. FanDuel Cash, who'd you go with, Max or Greinke?
FanDuel Cash, Max or Greinke. Those guys are priced really differently on FanDuel, are they not? But I would go Max, right?
Yeah, I think Max is clearly the safer play.
Yeah, Max is the safest play on the board. Just so much strikeout upside. Even if he gets touched up for a homer or something, like he can strike out the next 4 batters. I think Greinke is safe too, but if price doesn't matter, then yeah, go Scherzer.
Best GPP pitchers for DK. That's overbroad. That's overbroad.
GPP. Yeah. I mean, I like Pablo. I like Pablo Vargas. Who did I mention? Greinke, even though he's safe and chalky. Chase Anderson's also chalky, but I think I like him a little bit. Yeah, kind of locked in on just a few guys, and then just sprinkles of other guys here and there.
I just finished my last lineup, and I'm going to have CC Sabathia in that one. I'm going to hope the weather's okay. And I feel like our Rich Hill talk put me on Rich Hill. So my last lineup has both CC and Rich Hill in it. Sure. Yeah, talk yourself into things. I feel like if you talk for an hour, you can talk yourself into anything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially on this slate.
Yes. Yeah, definitely on this slate in particular.
I just feel like I'm being just so chalky. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think... But, some nights you do have to be chalky. Like, Osmo was on Friday, I think, and he was like, yeah, I'm just going to play the chalk tonight. But that's, like, the way to do it. And I don't know that it actually probably wasn't the way to do it, because I think a couple of those stacks that were chalky just weren't that good. But I think on a night-to-night, like, do you really want to play, like, Felix Hernandez at 1% just to be contrarian? Probably not.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah. But it's not impossible, though, that he has, like, an okay day, because the Rangers strike out 26% of the time. So, like, you could even find a logic there. I think it's just one of those slates where there's enough arguments to make to go in a bunch of different directions, and people are taking the path of least resistance for a few guys. And it's weird. It's weird on a 14-game slate.
Yep.
Only thing that scares me with Scherzer, he's already at 154 innings. That coach is going to be cutting his playing time for pitch count.
For Scherzer?
Yeah, that's his thought, at least.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Oh. The Indians handle says, can't say it's a good one. We are in a delay, and when we know something, you will know. In the meantime, let's discuss our favorite breakfast cereals. That actually, I hate baseball Twitter accounts sometimes. Like, that is, you don't need to talk about your favorite breakfast cereals. Just talk about the fucking weather and the game.
Got to keep the fans engaged. Got to keep them engaged.
Oh, God. Just let them live. Let them. They only care about the rain from you at this point. They don't want to hear, oh yeah, Captain Crunch, #1 power ranking for my cereal.
Well, it's important to some people, you know.
It is. Yeah, maybe there's a DFS edge in there. If Edwin Encarnacion doesn't like blueberry morning cereal, then make sure to fade him.
You cannot play someone who doesn't like that.
No, how could you not? Honey Bunches of Oats. I mean, that's probably Jose Ramirez's secret weapon. That's why he's been stealing bases and hitting home runs.
Exactly.
It's not PEDs. It's just delicious cereals.
Whoa, PEDs. Who's talking about PEDs?
I don't know. Isn't it a little odd though that Jose Ramirez could be good at those two things? Just a little, especially with his body type.
He's athletic. He's just thick.
He's just whatever. Good for him. Good for everybody in baseball who's fighting the system. This LAA lineup needs to be official. Yes, it does. I agree.
Is it not official?
Apparently not. Still not on Fantasy Labs.
Okay.
So that's what I guess that's what the bar for officiality is. Is it on every site in existence? If it's not, then it's not official.
I mean, I suppose.
It's raining in Cleveland, and by the way, Superman is way cooler than Batman. You could run a Twitter handle for the Cleveland Indians with that approach, Rob Mike Ryan Show.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
I do like that concept though. Like, oh hey, by the way, we're in a rain delay. Who's your favorite dictator? They could basically just become our show.
Favorite dictator? Well,
yeah,
no.
You missed that one. So if you want to chip in with your favorite dictator, we did have a pretty thorough debate on it.
That sounds like something I don't want to get myself in the middle of. Not a big dictator guy, believe it or not.
People are asking about Pivetta. I want to give the people what they want. So, what are your thoughts on Nick Pivetta tonight?
Super boom or bust, in my opinion. I love him when he's at home. I don't love him when he's on the road for whatever reason. He's one of those guys that seems to struggle outside of Philadelphia. Gives up a lot of hard hits, has the propensity to implode from time to time. We've seen it a couple times against a group of good hitters. The Nationals, I remember, were one of them. Or maybe I'm thinking of Zach Wheeler. I know Pavetta's had a bunch of blow-ups today. It doesn't matter. So I like some of these Diamondbacks. They're kind of a sneaky 3% owned stack that I'm on. But Pivetta has so much talent. Like, he's going to be super low owned. I get the GPP play, and it's not like it's a terrible price or anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's very cheap for the strike. I mean, not very cheap, very low owned for the opportunity he has in front of him, I think, with the strikeouts. If you can get a guy who's at 5% owned who throws 10 and a quarter strikeouts per 9, to me that seems like a pretty good opportunity. So I don't mind that play at all. It's not one that I'm making right now, but also Pavetta's been really good his last couple outings. Just one walk and hit per innings pitched, giving up home runs for some reason, but his strikeouts per 9 is up to 14.25, getting a good swinging strike rate. So I think there's a pretty viable case to go for him. So I don't hate that thought at all.
Yeah, he's awesome at getting swings and misses when he's on. He's almost unhittable. When he's not, he's very, very, very hittable.
And yeah, people have mentioned the Detroit lineup is out. Michael Gerber hitting first, so any sort of Ronnie Rodriguez bump he might have given pretty much only because he was sitting first.
Isn't Gerber a lefty?
He is a lefty.
What the hell is that?
Also, no Hicks. Fucking shit, man. That's not...
Wow.
I liked Hicks a lot.
Not great.
What? It's like, honestly... I mean, obviously, baseball teams have their own approaches, and no more than we do. I'm not going to try to go there, but why would you not roll one of your better lefty hitting players out there in this lineup and put Gerber at hitting leadoff? Like, why make those moves?
Because that's how you tank.
Is there tanking in baseball? I don't know that well enough.
No. I mean, it's really hard to get into the MLB, no matter where you're drafted, unless you're once in a generational talent. I mean, it's just the odds are you're not getting into the MLB if you're not drafted really, really, really early. So.
I can't imagine teams needing to, like, I guess you could want to throw games. I don't know. That's just bizarre to me. Like, put fucking Hicks in the lineup.
Yeah, that's the. I agree. I don't know why.
It's the main part of my thesis. Play Hicks. Play John Hicks.
Exactly.
He's the best. I hate having to switch that. Ugh. Damn projected line. This is also part of why, too, I don't like working with projected lineups when we're doing the show. Just like, you know. Felt safe to assume that Hicks would be in there, but nope. Are people sleeping on Aledmys Diaz at all?
Are they sleeping on him? I mean, he's fine for me. I like that entire Toronto team, so yeah. I guess people are sleeping on him in that he's probably going to be 1 or 2% owned, but I don't think he's like some fantastic play on his own.
Would you go Markakis or Trumbo for a one-off on DK?
Markakis against Scherzer? No thanks. I would go Trumbo. Yeah. You could do better than that, though, I think.
One would hope.
Better than Trumbo. I mean, you could go down to Kemp for $600 cheaper.
Would you go McCann, Leon, or Mathis for a super cheap catcher on DK?
McCann, Leon, or Mathis. I think I would go Sandy Leon there. I think I would go Sandy Leon.
It's weird when some, like, I don't know if this might just be a me issue. Like, sometimes on my sheet I have a random, like, symbol somewhere because, like, I presume I hit the button while typing away or something. And I always just get thrown off by it. Like, did I need to make a notation here? Like, nope, that's just the lowercase o. There's no reason for that. Pavetta or Mikolas? Which would you go with? Or Michaelis?
I don't like Michaelis tonight. I think I prefer Pavetta if we're just going for a bullet, low-owned. Pavetta's shown huge strikeout upside. Michaelis has not.
Here's a question for Chris from the live stream. Would you go Alfaro, Garver, or Miley?
Alfaro. What is it?
Alfaro, Garver, or Miley?
Miley.
Okay. All right, I guess I'll go Miley then. Miley. Let's see. McNeil is a guy of 0, but I wish I had more if he's really good. I like Jeff McNeil a lot tonight. I think he's actually, and I think he could be a decent one-off too at second base.
Yeah.
I think the Mets stack against Romano not getting enough love, but I think McNeil's a really good part of it.
I know. I love lefties against Sal Romano. There's just not enough good ones in there, right? You got Conforto and Nimmo.
Nimmo's down the order.
Yeah, Nimmo's down in the order. They've got them, like, they just balanced out the lineup. Like, stack the 3 lefties right away. I don't know. You want to get as many at-bats for lefties against Sal Romano, in my opinion.
I would agree. Spawn or Upton for DK?
Upton.
It would be Upton for me too. Thoughts on Benintendi today? I guess thoughts on the Red Sox in general. We didn't talk much about their side of it. We talked about the Blue Jays, and we both like them. But
right, yeah. So I just mentioned the top 4 or 5 for the Red Sox. That's where I'm going with them. If you want to throw in Jackie Bradley, that's perfectly fine. And then Leon's super cheap, so you can get to a full stack with the Red Sox. Stroman has not been like missing a ton of bats or anything, and then Boston just lights out against righties all season. So I'm on the Red Sox. Are you? I don't remember if you mentioned that.
I'm not going with the Sox tonight, but I think it's an okay play. It just wasn't my choice. I kind of wanted to go to lesser owned stacks than them. Sure. And I feel like, they're not that they're highly owned or anything either. It just, I thought the team total wasn't high enough to justify their price either.
Got it.
Yeah, they're expensive. I feel like I gotta really, really love the spot to play Red Sox usually. Who's dogging at Coors? We haven't talked a lot about Coors today. How are you handling both those sides, and I guess who do you feel like are going to hit home runs there?
In Coors?
Yeah.
I don't love Coors tonight. I like Blackman. I think he's probably got the best chance at home run. But yeah, I'm not crazy about Coors. I don't know. I don't have a great home run pick for you or anything.
I thought Pittsburgh was pretty overpriced for who they are as a team. I like them more though than Colorado. I actually don't think Colorado's side's that great. And Tayon's been pretty good at limiting hard contact. He's actually been getting a good amount of soft contact. An okay strikeout rate. So I think I would prefer to play Pittsburgh, and I think I have a handful of Pittsburgh stacks. And I think Sterling Marte, I hated him yesterday. He's atrocious versus lefties for some reason. But he is not bad at all versus righties. So Marte would probably be my favorite to hit a home run there. I think it'd be Marte.
Got it.
The Betesu versus lefties gives up a fair amount of home runs too. So I think it's an okay stack, but not Coors worthy, not Coors price upgrade worthy. Colin Moran I like tonight. I think Colin Moran's a good pick too.
We are locked.
You're locked. Ryan Yancey, good luck tonight, guys. Love the hard work you put in. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you. All right, so that's enough for still no Angels lineup. No, the Angels came out. We discussed that a while ago, right?
Yeah, we did. Yep. Dude, I ended up with 12% Freddie Freeman on that last crunch, so that was a little disappointing. I hate targeting against Scherzer, but I guess he would be the guy I wanted, so kind of not happy with that. But we'll blame that one on the Angels and Tigers for not getting their lineups in early enough. So.
Also, I guess the Angels still not confirmed on Fantasy Labs, but we do believe the lineup's out. Well, hopefully there's some reason why. First day using Fantasy Cruncher, that's not the one. I mean, good for you, but use Awesomo's premium rankings instead. That's more important to us. Sure. All right, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe. Keep your eye peeled for a strategy video tomorrow morning with Josh and Jake. Jake will have the night shift coming out soon as well, breaking down tomorrow's slate earlier than anybody else in the business. So go ahead and subscribe for that, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow.
Good luck, guys.